One of the many myths of psychology is the 10% myth, a myth which claims that we only use 10% of our brain. We're going to explore this theory and either confirm it, say it's possibly true, or completely bust it. We can first explore this theory through an example of Bob using most of his brain functions in a simple task of choosing a piece of candy. Bob's mom comes and gives Bob an option between two pieces of candy. Bob makes the decision, chooses a piece of candy, and eats it, and enjoys it very much. With this simple task, Bob is actually using all 4 lobes of his brain. When he hears his mother's instruction of choosing a piece of candy, he uses his temporal lobe, which is an auditory system. By seeing the candy, he uses the occipital lobe in the back of the brain. By choosing, he uses judgment, which is the frontal lobe of the brain. And picking it up and unwrapping it and enjoying a nice piece of candy, he uses the parietal lobe. Pleasure is given through the serotonin and dopamine pathways in the brain. With this simple example of Bob, one can see that in the simple task, more than 10% of the brain is used.
So Bornhove et al. In 2013 further explored this idea that the brain utilizes more than 10%. They took 9 different subjects from ages 20 to 40 and gave them a laser stimulus that gave off heat without damaging the nerves or the endothelial cells, the skin, but stimulated an activation of nerves. So the patients were able to feel things and rate the pain that was received. The purpose of the study was to explore how the brain reacts to a specific stimulus, in this case, pain. Okay, so they found that the primary somatosensory cortex, the secondary somatosensory cortex, the posterior insula, the anterior insular, prefrontal parietal cortex, and the amygdala, anterior cingulate cortex, and the amygdala were all stimulated in response to the pain. The different sections of the brain all responded according to their own function. In conclusion, the study by Bornhove et al. In 2013, as well as the different functions that are noticed in the example of Bob, support the conclusion that the myth of the brain only using 10% is busted.